Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to review The Shadows of Dust by Alec Hutson. The streams bind together the far reaches of space, sailed by stream surfers and their telepathic star beasts. Some are heroes, some are rogues, some just want to finish the next job. Karen Thontelisian, heir to a legendary name, finds himself and his crew blacklisted after the death of his grandfather. Forced to take on riskier and riskier contracts just to keep going, they take on a job with potentially unbelievable rewards. But before long, the fate of known space hangs in the balance. I read The Shadows of Dust as part of my group of 30 books for this year's self-published fantasy blog off, and the cover for this one was my favourite from my group, so I entered it into the cover contest, which is long finished. The art is by Felix Ortiz and the design is by Sean King. An absolutely winning team, I think, because I would just love this print. It's a fantastic image, I love it. Drifter is a giant space turtle who swims the streams of space. He is telepathically linked to Karen, and the crew and Karen live on sort of buildings on the back attached to Drifter's shell. Karen's point of view is the focus for most of this book, and we see him trying to live up to the family name, and a lot of the decisions he makes are based on this, but also keeping everything going after being blacklisted by the guild. There's quite a lot of understandable resentment there. He's doing the absolute best he can and as such takes on some jobs that are less than ideal, and his story is just so absorbing. Nala is part of his crew, a Kyrathi battle mage, a magic wielder from a cat-like alien race. I absolutely adored her. She does not want to get attached to anyone, but of course through the book things happen, and I really enjoyed getting to know her. She has a much greater emotional depth than the grumbling that we see at the start. They take on a job transporting a gobbler and a girl to a mysterious location. This could be a very lucrative job, and everything kind of explodes from here. The side characters are all done incredibly well. They feel like they are just real people. They've come in, they have their life, they have their part of the story, which is just part of their life. They all feel as though they've just stepped off the street. We see magic in this world, and there is so much of it utilised and experienced in different ways. This book does such a good job of tying in what is on the surface quite a science fiction world. We're in space, there's an alien planet, and yet it has these fantastical elements of magic and monsters, but everything is woven together in a way that feels really organic and works in the setting of this universe. It's the truest sci-fantasy I think I've read in a very long time. It put me in mind of the tone of A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe, which is a science fiction world that uses fantastical elements as part of the world. The world building in this is absolutely stunning. There is so much detail packed in, and yet it is never info dumpy. This world exists, and here is the story in the world. There is a richness and solidity to everything. And there is so much life in this universe. All the alien races we meet, the people packed into dust, the alien planet where we spend a lot of the time. It is crowded, and you can feel the sights and the smells and the amount of people there. There is a lot of history to this world, and we explore some of it throughout this story, but there are just so many little details that I would love to have more information about. We see people's lives, how they interact, even how the different religions are woven into society. And yet there's a horrifying element underlying this world. In one of the religions, it's based around pain, and you can pay to have pain given as part of your religion to a pain conduit, and we meet one of these as one of the characters. And later on there is a rather of a touch of the eldritch horror. The pacing through this book is unrelenting. There is so much packed in. Action sequences are well plotted and exciting to read about. I mean, a giant space beast battle in space, it's fantastic. The writing though is so crisp and clear that it can support this unrelenting pacing. I did feel as though the use of epithets to describe some of the characters was a little bit on the cumbersome side, We have more than one to describe some characters. So for example, we have the girl, which is, yeah, that makes sense. She was also referred to as the pain conduit, the former pain conduit. It just felt a touch clunky. As much as we have the detail packed in, and I absolutely loved it, it felt at times as though the book was just trying to do too much. It is a standalone, although there is the scope for more in this world, and I would love there to be more. It just felt as though it was bursting at the seams and it wanted to be bigger than it was. This is a book that I would honestly love to reread, because I started reading this very, very fast once we started building up towards the climax, and I'm sure there are still more details that I did not pick up upon. It's absorbing and unrelenting, but so much fun and filled with memorable characters, and I definitely need to try some more of Alex Hutson's works. So if you have read this or any of his other books, I would love to know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you all soon.